Welcome to Geo-War News. In today's episode, we analyze the armed forces of India and Pakistan, two nuclear-armed neighbors with a complex and often tense relationship. As recent developments cause a spike in regional tensions, we ask, which country is better prepared for a military confrontation? Let's begin by evaluating their economic and military investments. India ranks as the fourth largest military spender in the world, investing between $75 and $84 billion annually in defense. This massive budget supports a wide array of modernization programs and technological development. In contrast, Pakistan allocates around $8 billion, approximately one-tenth of India's spending, which limits its ability to maintain technological parity. In terms of manpower, India maintains a formidable structure with 1.4 million active personnel, over 1 million reservists, and 2.5 million paramilitary members. Pakistan's numbers are smaller, with 650,000 active personnel, 550,000 in reserves, and an estimated 500,000 paramilitary forces. On land, India holds a decisive advantage, not only in numbers but also in armored and mechanized capabilities. The Indian Army operates over 4,000 tanks, featuring modern units like the T-90 Bhishma and the Arjun Mk-1, both classified as third-generation main battle tanks with advanced fire control systems, ERA, explosive reactive armor, and night fighting capability. Pakistan fields around 2,600 tanks, with many being older models such as the Chinese Al-Khalid, based on the Chinese Type 90, and the Ukrainian T-80UD. While capable, they fall behind in terms of armor sophistication, digital battlefield integration, and mobility. India also boasts superior artillery, including upgraded towed and self-propelled systems. It emphasizes long-range precision artillery, while Pakistan counters with a large fleet of multiple rocket launchers, such as the A-100, capable of hitting targets up to 100 kilometers away. India's Air Force, IAF, is substantially stronger, with nearly 600 combat aircraft, including advanced fighters like the Su-30 MKI, Rafale, and the indigenously produced HAL Tejas. These jets come equipped with cutting-edge avionics, AESA radars, and multi-role capabilities. Pakistan operates between 350 to 400 fighter aircraft, with notable platforms like the F-16 Fighting Falcon, JF-17 Thunder, co-developed with China, and the newer J-10C, also Chinese-made. Although Pakistan's Air Force is well-trained and capable, India's technological edge gives it a more dynamic reach in aerial warfare. India also dominates in rotary aviation, with modern helicopters such as the Apache AH-64E and indigenous HAL Rudra. Pakistan still relies heavily on older platforms like the AH-1 Cobra, although it is slowly integrating newer models. When it comes to airlift and strategic mobility, India has a considerable advantage. It fields C-17 Globemasters, C-130J Super Hercules, and IL-76 aircraft, allowing it to project power quickly and supply frontline troops even in high-altitude terrain. Pakistan, by contrast, depends on older C-130 variants and a limited number of IL-78s. At sea, the Indian Navy stands as a regional power, operating 2 aircraft carriers, dozens of destroyers and frigates, and a submarine fleet that includes nuclear-powered attack submarines, SSNs. This gives India true blue-water navy capabilities, the ability to operate far from home shores. The Pakistani Navy, while professional, is smaller and focused on coastal defense, with about 120 vessels, primarily diesel-electric submarines, corvettes, and fast attack crafts. Pakistan is undergoing submarine modernization, acquiring advanced AIP-capable subs, air-independent propulsion, to improve underwater endurance, but it remains significantly behind India in naval projection. Both nations possess nuclear weapons, with arsenals estimated at 165 warheads each. However, their nuclear doctrines differ. India follows a no-first-use policy, pledging not to initiate nuclear strikes unless first attacked with WMDs. It possesses a full nuclear triad, land-based missiles, air-delivered bombs, and nuclear-powered submarines capable of launching ballistic missiles. Pakistan maintains a more ambiguous doctrine, leaving open the possibility of preemptive use, particularly of tactical nuclear weapons, low-yield nukes, if its conventional defenses are breached. This flexibility introduces strategic unpredictability in any future conflict scenario. India enjoys strong ties with Russia, France, the United States, and Israel, leading to major benefits in technology transfer, weapon systems, and logistical support. This includes access to advanced ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, capabilities, and real-time battlefield networking. Pakistan's closest defense partner is China, which supplies combat aircraft, warships, drones, and missiles. It also receives periodic support from Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, but lacks the same depth of multilateral cooperation seen in India's relationships. If tensions escalate into a localized military conflict, the likely battlefield would be the Kashmir region, a historically volatile zone of disputed sovereignty and intense militarization. India's overwhelming advantage in equipment and manpower would allow it to initiate rapid offensive operations along the line of control, LOC, combining long-range artillery, mountain infantry, and air cover to breach forward Pakistani positions. However, terrain changes everything. The Himalayan topography of Kashmir, marked by deep valleys, rugged passes, and extreme altitudes, creates a logistical nightmare for large-scale operations. Pakistani forces, deeply entrenched and familiar with the landscape, could mount effective resistance, using natural defenses to inflict serious losses. Historical precedent like the 1999 Kargil conflict shows how a small number of Pakistani soldiers in fortified positions could stall an Indian advance for weeks. Pakistan's ability to mobilize faster due to its proximity to the front lines adds another layer of complexity. Pakistan is also known for supporting irregular forces and special operations units to destabilize Indian positions through asymmetric tactics. These elements might be used to attack supply lines, conduct sabotage, or trigger civil unrest behind Indian lines. In the skies, India would likely seek air dominance, but would face Chinese-supplied air defense systems, making Indian pilots act with caution despite superior hardware. India's longer and more exposed supply lines, from regions like Leh and Srinagar, are vulnerable to ambushes, weather-related disruptions, and enemy fire. Roads like the Jammu-Srinagar Highway are critical but fragile arteries of logistics. Pakistan, with shorter and more consolidated supply chains, could reinforce its troops faster. However, it remains exposed to India's superior aerial interdiction capabilities. A major Indian asset is its air mobility, with Chinook helicopters, C-17s, and C-130JS able to deliver supplies or evacuate wounded even in the most remote mountain zones. Pakistan lacks such airlift depth and would depend more heavily on keeping roads open. While India holds the strategic and technological upper hand, any conflict would be shaped not just by numbers, but by terrain, weather, logistics, and political decisions. Kashmir is not a battlefield that rewards brute force alone. It demands adaptability, experience, and endurance.